To understand the kidney diseases in less of technical and more of terms which would be comprehensible by the general public, I would call it to be divided into two categories. They are acute kidney diseases or AKIs, acute kidney injuries, or chronic kidney diseases, which are CKDs. So what happens in acute kidney injury is that suppose somebody has had some kind of infection. Some person might have had some kind of dehydration due to any cause. Suppose somebody's been having a lot of loose motions and they're losing out on their total fluid from their body. So these patients will have less volume of blood in their body, and that would lead to injury to the kidneys. So this is acute phenomena. This can be recovered with treating the original cause. So the creatinine which has increased can come down to normal level. And temporarily, when the kidneys are not working, if there's a complete shutdown, we can manage with dialysis. And if the recovery occurs, we can stop the dialysis. So these patients might not require dialysis later in their lives. So the causes for AKIs again could be structural disease in the kidneys, stone which has recently occurred and caused some acute damage, or there's some infection, there's a dehydration, there's snake bite, there's insect bite, which has been toxic to the kidneys. So these kind of things can lead to acute kidney injury. Some patients might have slow damage to the kidneys for a long time, like patients with diabetes, patients with long-standing glomerular diseases, which was not taken care of, patients who have been having uncontrolled hypertension. These kind of patients have been having irreversible damage in their kidneys. So this becomes chronic kidney disease. Now, the problem is that we are born with 1 lakh nephrons in each kidney. Nephrons are the filtering units. The problem is that our body cannot regenerate these nephrons. Suppose you have injury on your hand. After some time, the skin would become normal, right? So there is regeneration process which is going on, repair process which is going on. With kidneys, if these nephrons are damaged, they most of the times don't recover. And then this disease becomes irreversible and it is called chronic kidney disease. So in short, basically, we have two kinds of kidney disease: AKI, acute kidney injury, or CKD, chronic kidney disease, which have multitude of causes, right from stones to infections to dehydration, long-standing diabetes, hypertension, and n number of other causes. Dehydration, long-standing dehydration, which could be due to decreased water intake, or when it comes to summers, then we have a lot of loss of water in the form of sweat. So this can lead to injury to the kidney and could lead to AKI, as we have discussed. Then there could be various infections, tropical infections like malaria, dengue, all sorts of infections can potentially lead to injury to the kidneys. Then snake bites and other, toxin ingestion, or if suppose somebody has taken high dose of drugs, then this could also lead to AKIs. Sometimes if some person has been taking a lot of over-the-counter drugs like antibiotics, which are potentially renal toxic, and suppose somebody has been taking a lot of painkillers without prescription, because we have this tendency, we have aches and pains and we tend to pop pills. So if this has been occurring as a regular phenomena, this leads to kidney injury. Sometimes this is acute, and if this has been happening for a long time, this patient might even land to the stage of dialysis. So those things, of course, have to be avoided. Then apart from that, there could be diabetes, which is poorly controlled. There could be hypertension, again, since a long time, which is poorly controlled. I would say that everything and anything can lead to potentially kidney injury. So while we are having active infections, while we are having chronic diseases like diabetes, hypothyroidism, rheumatological disorders like systemic lupus nephritis, and also rheumatoid arthritis, we have to be very careful about our renal health and get our creatinine and urine routine checked very frequently. So the simplest of the symptom is when this disease has advanced, the patient would have decrease in urine output. They would sense that the quantity of urine they have been passing has decreased. Now, if the urine decreases, this fluid tends to get collected in the body. So they'll have swelling over their feet, especially because if they have been traveling for a long time and they've been putting their legs in dependent position, it gets collected there due to gravity. So these patients will have pedal edema. When they wake up, they'll have facial puffiness. These patients might even have initially increased urine output. Sometimes they'll have a lot of, feeling of voiding urine in the night itself when they awaken in the initial stages of kidney disease. So nocturia, as we call it, could be one of the symptoms. Then these patients, if they have UTIs, frequent UTIs, which is leading to scarring of kidneys, That can lead to a dysuria or sensation of pain while passing urine. Sometimes this will also be accompanied by passing blood which is visible through naked eyes. Then these patients might have increased blood pressure, and increased blood pressure will not be a symptom in itself. These patients who have increased blood pressure will have a lot of frequent headaches, they'll have blurring of vision, or they might even feel dizziness. So they should be checking their blood pressure periodically. Pregnant females, if their blood pressure are increasing, if they have swelling, they might be having something called preeclampsia. So they should be very careful about that. And not just adults, many a times children also have kidney diseases, which either could be genetic, which could be since birth, or they would acquire it later in their life. So yes, children also need to be careful when it comes to renal health. They should be voiding urine very frequently, especially girls. And they should also be careful if at all their urine is discolored in any time or any form. So they should be reporting to their parents that time. The simple and the basic test, I would tell, there are two tests. One is called serum creatinine, because creatinine is a marker of performance of kidneys. If kidneys are performing well, creatinine will be very well eliminated through urine. So the blood levels will be low, they'll be normal, they'll be less than 1 sometimes. But if they're increasing, that means kidneys are not functioning well, and it's a very simple test which you should be doing after 40 years of age every year. Second is urine routine. Urine routine itself shows if there is leakage of proteins abnormally in the urine, if at all there are red blood cells, white blood cells, ketones, glucose. There are so many things which can be indicated through urine routine. So number one, creatinine. Number two, urine routine. These two itself are enough. Apart from that, ultrasound of the kidneys to see if there is any shrinking of the sizes of the kidneys, if there is scarring of the kidneys, the imaging part will help in that. Apart from that, there are so many tests, right, from serum albumin, ANA profile, C3, C4, but that we do case by case. If we talk about three tests, it's ultrasound of the kidneys, serum creatinine, and urine routine. The treatment of kidney diseases depends on the cause of kidney disease. If the stone obstruction is causing kidney disease, we will remove the stone, remove the obstruction, and hence lead to salvation of kidneys. If the internal structure of the kidney has some issues, if there's injury at the region of glomerulus or microscopic injury, we treat it with immunosuppressants like steroids, etc. If the cause is poorly controlled diabetes, we check diabetes and give medicines accordingly. So the treatment depends on cause. Now, if unfortunately the patient has already progressed to the last stage of kidney disease, then we offer three kinds of treatment. Number one is hemodialysis, where we remove the blood from the patient, clean it in the machines, and put it back in the patient's body. So that's artificial performance of the function which kidney does. Second is peritoneal dialysis. Here we do dialysis through patient's abdomen. We put some fluid, special fluid in patient's abdomen, and through that all the nitrogenous waste is eliminated. And third thing which we can offer here is renal transplant. So any patient who has been undergoing dialysis or who is just about to begin the dialysis, he is at that stage, those kind of patients can be subjected to transplant. So renal transplant again is of two types. It could be live, where we take kidneys from patient's relative, which is according to NOTO guidelines, national guidelines. And one is DDRT or cadaver transplant, where the kidney from somebody who is brain dead is transplanted into a patient with CKD. So these are treatment options we can offer to the patient. Kidneys are very vital organs of our body, and they don't give any sign. They don't cry till the time they are only functioning like less than 10% of their capacity. So we have to catch hold of kidney disease very early. We have to catch hold of them at the stage where we can control the progression. So you have to get your serum creatinine and urine routine done after the age of 40. You have to check if you're having diabetes after the age of 40 every year. And also hypertension should be looked around if you are 40 and above every 6 months at least. Cut down the intake of salt and hydrate yourself at least 2 to 3 liters of fluid per day, and you are done with your kidneys.